Good morning. My name is Brian Wren. Can I see your passport, please? Thank you. What is your full name?
My full name is Shalini Adi Teves.
Thank you. Let's begin. Are you working or studying?
Oh, I'm actually working at the moment. I work as one of the government employees in Sarangani. Well, usually what I do is that I take care of all the media mileage. I make sure that I'm always the vice governor is always visible online. So part of that is to inform the public about what he is doing. Aside from that, we're also making sure that everything that needs to be learned, like the warning or any kind of related information about the pandemic, is also we put it on public. So basically, it's all about what we do on social media. That's what my responsibilities are, and I'm just so happy that up until this time, I'm able to do it. In fact, I've been doing it for 4 years, and I'm just happy with the kind of job that I have.
And how do you like your job?
I enjoyed actually my job. I feel it is very novel because even if you're not compensated a huge amount of money, you can actually make a great deal of difference to the lives of people. Because usually I deal with those who are impoverished, those who are not really, unemployed. They are in the remote areas. And usually what we do there is that we train them, we try to capacitate them. We bring teachers to help them improve on their skills, particularly on their how to plant, like usually how to put their fertilizers and something like that. Anything that is related to what they're actually doing, we try to improve that. So what we do is that we bring teachers, we bring trainers to help them improve on their planting, like some technological advances that we also add to it. We help them with the equipment. We actually purchase one for them.
Okay, so what aspects do you like or dislike about your job?
There's so many things that I like about my job. The first thing that comes to my mind is that, you know, this is the opportunity to, like I said, make a difference to the lives of people, not only making a living, but also making a difference. Because at this time and age, it is very important that we are not just thinking of ourselves, but we're also thinking of other people. And so for me, whenever I see that a happy family is there to just, share to me how blessed they are because they have us, it feels good inside. And that altruistic feeling there makes me, continue what I'm actually doing. On the other hand, there are also challenges with this kind of job because I need to look for more partners who are willing to do the same, like willing to help. Because the money does not come from the government, but most of the time it's from the non-government organizations or even just a private individual. And so sometimes I feel like I've already exhausted my contact. And so it's frustrating when you cannot find one. But I usually end up just getting it out of my pocket. Yeah. So
Okay. Okay, now I want you to get an extra sheet of paper. I want you to think about this for 1 minute and 2 minutes to talk about it. Your timer is going to start now. Okay, you may start talking now.
I'd like to talk about a house or a flat that I actually like to live in or I prefer to live in. It is located in Delran, Florida. I like living there. And what I usually want to do there would be, of course, to do some outdoor activities because it's nearby the beach and you can really see how beautiful that place is because of the beautiful scenery. And like I made mention of the ocean, the bay shore, you will definitely enjoy it because of the white sand. And I'm just so excited that if I'm going to purchase a house or a flat, it would be nearby the ocean. You know, the gushing sound of that water just makes you relax. Well, of course, I would love it when if I have my family with me, my husband and my two kids. You know, building a beautiful family in a place like this would be something like it's just an unimaginable. But I know that someday I'll be able to do that. I like this place so much because it's just like Philippines. It has a tropical climate. Most of the time, it's humid. They don't experience their snows or it's not that cold. And aside from that, it's less polluted, which is something that I know would be very livable for my children. I mean, you have to take it into consideration. Aside from that, the place is also kind of laid back compared to other places in Florida, like Miami, Jacksonville, where the traffic is just too heavy and it's just too hard to go to one place and another. In fact, I've already visited the place, although I'm still searching which area in the land would I would love to really stay, but there are already options in my mind. And I'm thinking of getting a three-bedroom apartment. If I'm not, I don't think I will be able to afford to buy a house already because we are just starting here. And so maybe an apartment. And
Okay, thank you. That's the end of task 2. Now we're moving on to task 3. Do you think it's better to rent or to buy a place to live in?
well, if I have a preference, I'd like to live in a place where I'm already paying for it and soon it will be mine. It's too expensive to rent the house and someday you need to move out. So for me, if I have a choice and if I can afford it, I would like to live in a place where it's rent to own. So yeah, because of the fact that I know that even if it's expensive, maybe because it's more expensive, you have that kind of arrangement. Well, I at least I know that someday it's going to be mine. So if you have to ask me, I would rather live in a place where I'm already renting it, but soon it's going to be mine because there's this what they call rent to own. So I think buying would be the best option.
Okay. How easy is it to find a place to live in your country?
I would say it is fine. It's all right. You can just, if you are looking for like a studio type apartment, it's actually very accessible. You can find it anywhere. Either you search it online, there's also a website for that where you can just look for a house there and you can choose either you rent it or you buy it. There's just so many websites now that would help you. Aside from that, you can also ask for friends because I think General Santos City is, well, Philippines, not just General Santos City, is really good for migrants. And part of this is the government is really making sure that there would be a good place for people to live. And so there are a lot of housing. And these are just not there. You have two options. You can do the low cost housing. There's also something like more expensive if you can afford it. So I think looking for a house in my country is never a problem. It's really a lot easier now than before.
Okay. So do you agree that there is a right age for young adults to stop living with their parents?
I'm in between minds. If you need to really, ask your children to leave your house just because they reach the age of maturity, typically it would be 18 years of age. I do not question those who have that kind of culture because, it is also right that you incorporate or tell your kids how good it is to be independent. And part of that is when they leave their houses and live on their own. On the other hand, part of our Filipino culture is that we tend to be very clannish, and part of us being clannish is that we want to keep our kids forever. Yeah, I don't know if that is always good, but most of the time, some would always say it has drawbacks. But for me, because it's our culture, we want to be always together. We usually have that extended kind of family. I would love that, my parents would be with me and I'll be the one to take care of them. I think it is always best. Nothing beats the love of your loved one. So right now, I'm thinking of bringing my mom here and really want to make sure that I know if she's really, feeling well, because now she's just alone in the Philippines. And for me, I don't mind if either way, if my mom wants me to live with her, yes, I would be okay with that. And even if my children would stay with me, like for the rest of their lives, like maybe not really rest for their lives, but maybe if they have an option, they can just simply, live in our house until they want it.
So what options are available to young couples looking for accommodation in your country?
Well, there are different types of housing. Like I said, there could be low cost and also like expensive housing that are available in my country. So for me, for young couples, since they're just starting, I think it would be good if they're going to rent a house which is just a studio type. For economic reasons, when you are starting a family, you should not be thinking of big things because it's expensive. Like you have to start from scratch. So it would be good if they're going to start with buying or renting a studio type apartment.
Okay. And what are some of the pleasures involved in making a home for ourselves?
Oh, I've always been very excited when I get to have a chance to design my house. Not only that it shows my artistry in them, but it's also my way of expressing myself, especially when I'm too tired from work. But I don't know. I'm just so excited when I try to choose curtains or fixtures to buy. Uh, well, maybe because of the fact, like I said, that you can express yourself, and that by way of expressing yourself, you tend to relax as well. Yourself, you tend to divert it from what you usually do. If you're too busy, if you're a busy person, then you get to go to place like IKEA, where you can just look at there what things to buy, and so you put it inside your house. I don't know. That kind of pleasure is just something that unexplainable, but it feels good inside. So if you have a choice, like just going out and spending time with friends, I think I put more weight on visiting places like this, like going to the kitchen store and then you buy things there. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that unexplainable. But if ever I have to choose, I would always want to design a house like my house. In fact, my husband would always complain that you tend to buy a lot for the house. You have to save more or something like that. But I said, oh, it's just a small buy. Like I just bought new curtains, and I also bought like bed sheets because for me it feels good if you have a place that you can really call home and you're comfortable there. It's a different satisfaction.
Okay, so that's the end of task 3 there. So what sports do you often do?
Oh, I'll be very honest with you. I do not have much time to do it, but if I have a choice or if I have the luxury of time, I usually do like badminton. Yes, it's something that for me, it's, a very good form of cardiovascular exercise because just have to run or walk. It's not complicated like the other kind of sports. And I really enjoy it. In fact, I had a time to invite my friend 2 weeks ago. We played badminton together, and then we were just so happy about it. We forgot that we already played like for 3 hours already. It was long, but we didn't feel it, but we burned a lot of calories. Yeah. So badminton would be the first thing in my mind.
Okay, so what is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport, just like I said, badminton. If I have to do it all over again, I would still really not mind choosing badminton. That would be the best sport for me.
And do you think students at schools should do sports?
Oh, definitely. You know, there should always be balance. Like while they are good in their academic, it's something that they should not also set aside their extracurricular activities, and that would be their physical education. This is mainly because of the fact that this can be their source of breather. Sometimes they get so frustrated at school or even in their readings. They should also take into consideration that the physical aspect is not sacrificed. So for me, it is important that schools should also employ or incorporate physical education subject. In the Philippines, we do that. In every year level, there's always the physical education subject that is incorporated. So for me, it should always be the same. It is needed.
And what are the benefits of doing sports?
There are a lot, actually. The first thing that springs to my mind would be it is a good form of exercise. You know, gone are the days when kids go out and play. Now they're busy into, doing something on their computers, laptops, or gadgets. And I think that is really not good. They become sedentary. They have that sedentary lifestyle, which usually starts, to develop illnesses or sicknesses, or illnesses like, for example, diabetes mellitus. It is basically the reason for that is kids nowadays don't just go out and exercise. They're more into eating anything, usually a junk food or foods laden with preservatives. Then after that, they don't do exercises. They're just a couch potato, sitting around, watching TV. And so it should be part of it, exercises. Not only that, even the adults. I mean, adults are not exempted to this because of their lifestyle that most of us are just sitting around and doing things on the computer. We tend not to exercise or burn some calories by doing some physical exercise. And so it is good that we need to have that or allocate time to exercise or just do some strenuous activities. We can still do it. In addition to that, exercise also is a very good way to release endorphins. That's what they call happy hormones. And if ever you're going to be engaging into this, not only that it feels good outside because of the exercise thingy that you're burning calories, your health, your laboratory result might change, but also it feels good inside because of the endorphin.
And do you think sport helps people to relax?
Oh, surely, certainly. This is because of the fact that, with exercises, you get to change your perspective in life. Like even for a short while, you divert your attention into just what you're doing. You tend to focus on that and you forget about whatever problems you may have. And for me, that gives you a form of relaxation. That's the main reason why in my busy schedule, I try my best to really just simply do some badminton with my friends. I invite them because even it's just an hour of badminton, I'm already relaxed. Contrary to what they say that you get tired because you're, doing some physical activity. Well, for me, it's the opposite. I believe otherwise. I think it's one of the best ways to relax.
Okay, so that's the end of the task one here. We're now going to move on to the task two. I want you to describe an adventurous person that you know. You should say who this person is, how you know him or her, what he or she does, and explain why you think he or she is an adventurous person. Okay, you may begin now.
Okay, I'd like to talk about a friend of mine. Well, I really consider him a wanderer, an opportunist on a good side. Well, because of the fact that he always does things which are really unusual. His name is Ian. He is my best friend. I've known him since we were in high school. So I think it's more than a decade already. Part of what he does is that he goes bungee jumping. Yes. Most of the time he would invite me and tell me that why don't you, join me in one of my extreme activities. So he does bungee jumping. And actually, he went to Macau just to have the bungee jumping. Aside from that, he also into skydiving. He visits places like Dubai just to, do some extreme sport like this. But on a regular basis, he is into motocross. So if you can only imagine what he's doing, everything seems to be too complicated that it's somehow, giving me that feeling that he could die anytime. I'm scared for him because he doesn't want to do things that are just simple or ordinary. He wants it when it's a life threatening, okay? Life threatening activity, like it's a near death experience. In fact, he made mention to me last time that he went into rappelling with one of his friends and he almost died because the rope just loosened and he didn't even realize it, just because he was so excited to do it. For me, an adventurous person like him, uh, well, I think there are pros and cons because every day he tends to appreciate life. Like he knows that anytime he could die. And so if he can experience this kind of, activity, he would be able to say,
Okay, thank you. That's the end of task 2. Okay, task 3. Are you an adventurous person?
well, somehow I think I got influenced by my friend. Now I'm trying to start doing some adventure sport like I tried rappelling. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it, but because do not have that luxury of time now, I wasn't able to do it again. But if ever I had a chance, I want to give it a try. For me, a person who will eat anything put on their plate is an adventurous. Uh, it's exciting actually. You don't know what's gonna happen next, and when it's unpredictable, it gives you that thrill. And I think that is where the satisfaction kicks in. That wow, I was able to experience that. Like for example, as a skydiver, you know that he is inclined into adventure, but he could also lose his life just because of the kind of sport that he's actually doing. So I think
Mhm,
somehow I'm opening my chance. I'm also thinking of what
mhm.
ifs.
Okay. Do you think that society should help adventurous people?
I'll be very honest with you. I don't think that it's the responsibility of the government to help the adventurous people to engage into this kind of sports or any activity. Well, because of the fact that adventurous for people are those who do extreme games and it is risky. We shouldn't encourage this kind of behavior, but we should rescue them with their life when they're in danger. So how can you, explain that? You're happy doing it, and then now that something is going to happen to you, you put the burden on other people. I don't think that's fair. So for me, that shouldn't be the case.
Okay. So do you know any adventurous activities or extreme games?
Well, like I made mention of a number of it a while ago, but if I can add more, I think car racing would be also part of it. Aside from that, hot air ballooning or can also be like doing some hot air balloon sports. I attended it one here in Fresno. Wow, it's really extreme because they don't even know where they are landing. Like you cannot tell where or which place you're going to land there. They're just saying, okay, until we fly. So I was actually scared when they told me that how much more if I will be part. It's really dangerous. Parachuting is an extreme game as well for me.
Mhm. And do you like them?
It is too risky for me. And sometimes I want to try, but most of the time my mind and my heart tells me, no, you shouldn't. So for now, I have no interest in it at all. I only have one life and I don't want to sacrifice my life for it.
Okay. And so why do people like adventurous and extreme sports?
Some people are born with the adventurous spirit and they can't resist the urge or the temptation to take risks. For them, life is meaningless if there's no adventurous experience. My friend would always tell me that, you only have one life to live. That's why you have to experience all, including this. So, yeah, I respect them for it. That's their prerogative.
And why are there so many adventurous programs?
Some people don't do it themselves, but they like to watch it. Maybe because of or out of curiosity. They are curious about the kind of life of that person. And so, yeah, I think that's the main reason why there are adventurous programs like this. So if you don't want to do it, well, at least you can just watch how people live their lives.
Yeah. And what do you think about people spending extra money on these activities?
Well, it's okay. As long as people can afford the game, they can buy whatever they like. People have the freedom to spoil their hobbies a little bit. So I'm okay with that. It's something that I don't question. It's their option. It's their decision. I respect them for that.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of task 3. And thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.